Welcome, traveler. Nice to have you here again. I was thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Master Duel is out and I have been playing a lot. I've been a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Since I was 7. My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Is 5Ds. Nuts! But I'm not here to talk about 5Ds. I'm here to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. The first one. Or I guess technically the second one. At first glance, it may look like an over-the-top anime about children card games taken very seriously, but what if I told you? Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters is about something else, something encouraging. On today's episode of The Feet of the Lamia, I shall reveal what might be the truth of Yu-Gi-Oh! That the Pharaoh is not from the past, but from the future. Did that sound wacky? Well, I don't know, it's more wacky than Yu-Gi-Oh's actual story, which I watched many years ago, but I still remember some stuff. So it's about this dude trying to put together the pieces of a puzzle that supposedly will grant him any wish. Little Yugi boy just wants to have friends, relatable. So he completed the puzzle. What does he get? He gets possessed by an ancient spirit of a pharaoh, cousin of Mun-Ra. Some stuff happens, and there you go, Yugi, you have friends now. Then he has to duel a crazy rich kid whom is horny for white dragons. Possessed Yugi defeats him with Sexodia, the censored one, and mind breaks him. Then they gotta save Yugi's grandpa that got converted into an NFT and was trapped in the blockchain. Because some creepy dude was also possessed by some ancient Egyptian Chunibi eye patch. Yugi summoned the summon of the cranial summoning. Then comes the Shonen arc. The Shonen tournament arc. Some dudes really want to steal cards, and they are willing to send your legs to the Shadow Realm for them. A lot of dangerous card games later, and Mr. Yugi and his friends were going against this gangsta called what? Marika! Joey almost defeats him, but he faints because he didn't have breakfast that day. Yugi wins because he's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Later that evening, some bad boys wanted to revive a long snake. Yugi loses, but then he wins. Friends rescued, everyone happy, until Exodia and the 3 overrated gods fight against this dude with a mag named Dong, as big as the schlong of whomst is watching this. The long man is so solid, higher powers must intervene. So the gang calls upon their mom, and that's how they win. At the end of the series, the gangsta boy goes to the gym. The pharaoh spirit has to return to the land of the dead because he's old and tired. Before leaving, he has a last duel with little Yugi boy and loses again. He leaves and everyone gets sad because it's like somebody died. And it makes sense because he was a paranormal entity from the other side, but he was their paranormal entity from the other side. And now, even though Yugi got his wish, he has friends. He's still missing his best friend, the Pharaoh. Excellent story. It just needs aliens to be a 10 out of 10. But excellent story. What's interesting to me is how both the Pharaoh and Yugi are so similar. Same hairstyle, both are midgets, almost like they were actually the same person. What if they are the same person? Alright, here's my take. We can see from all the way back to season 0, the Pharaoh is like everything Yugi wishes to be. He's assertive, brave, strong, skilled, cheats with style, and for some reason he's not taller. Remember Tea? Or Ansu? Yugi's love interest. Yeah, she likes the big Yugi boy. Because he's a bad boy. Yugi knows this. That's why he makes the Pharaoh go out on a date with Tea. And in Duel Links, Yugi tells Tea he knows she'd rather talk to the Pharaoh than to him. Oof. Former bullies become friends thanks to the power of being cool, and those who were beyond rude were eventually put in their place. The Pharaoh was not just some personality disorder that surfaced every time Yugi was in a pinch. The Pharaoh was someone who saw Yugi as worthy of friendship and respect. He was patient with him, supported him, valued him beyond his flaws, so much that little Yugi wanted to fight his own battles, wanted to use his own strength and prove his own worth. And after the Pharaoh was gone, Yugi continued growing. He became braver, bolder, mature, and eventually Yugi and the Pharaoh looked more and more the same. I think Yugi does become the king of games and appears in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX many years later after the event of Duel Monsters. Apparently Yugi didn't need ancient Egyptian magic to make his dream come true. He should just have been more confident in himself. That way, he'd make friends, his crush would like him back, he could stand up against his bullies, win tournaments, and become the king of games. Yeah, Yugi, you should just be more confident. What kind of advice is that? It's much easier to piece together an ancient magical puzzle and ask for stuff. What would have happened if Yugi never finished the puzzle? Would he still be the same timid boy bullied at school? Perhaps. But I think finishing the puzzle is symbolic. A symbolism for coming to understand what kind of life Yugi wanted. Because understanding what we really want and how we want to be is like putting a puzzle together. It's confusing, takes a long time, and sometimes we don't even get to finish. Unfortunately, we don't have magical Egyptian puzzles to grant us wishes. Not that I know of, at least. I don't remember where did I get this from, or if I came up with it myself. But I like to follow this phrase that goes like, live the future in the present. What does this have to do with Yugi? He was doing precisely that. He was making a reality the future he wanted to live in the present. And you can do it too. No need to find any magical items. First, you need to think of whomst you want to be. How does your ideal self look like? Is it a more confident person? Wiser perhaps? Do imagine that person kinder than you. Why? Because Yugi's Pharaoh was kind. Just follow the example. Think about all the things your ideal self has. Your own Pharaoh. Next up, when you're going through situations, ask yourself, what would your Pharaoh do? Believe in yourself. Draw your card. Show the world, show yourself that your deck has no pathetic cards. I'll be rooting for you, and your Pharaoh too. Don't despair if you can't think of anything yet. We all have our own stories, our own pace. Let this just be an example on how to do things. Let Yugi show us the way on how to become a king of games. And that's why I think the Pharaoh was a representation of Yugi's ideal future self. Pretty bullshit, huh? Well, too bad. Go get your own interpretation instead of wasting your time here. I was working on this script since a long time ago, but I couldn't bring myself to finish it until I got the news of the tragic death of Kazuki Takahashi, the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember an interview where he said his story was complete, but he decided to continue doing more for the loving fans of his series. I consider myself one of those fans, even if not a competitive one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been with me since my childhood. My first deck was the Pegasus deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been in every phase of my life. The child waking up to watch Duel Monsters GX and 5Ds, elementary, middle school, becoming an otaku, high school, university, and beyond. Now my deck is the Cubic deck. Started a villain, continued a villain. Pretty neat, huh? Anyway, I made a lot of friends, had a lot of excitement and inspiration, and even reflection. For that and much more, Kazuki Takahashi. The story you loved made my life better. Thank you very much. And remember, Lamia have no feet. But if you look for them, you will find them. And perhaps you'll enjoy them. See ya, Space Cowboy. And that's why I think the Pharaoh was a representation of Yugi's ideal future self. Pretty bullshit, huh? Motherfucker. Apparently Yugi didn't need ancient Egyptian... Oh, fucking hell. What would have happened if Yu-Gi-Oh... It's been 3 times that I say Yu-Gi-Oh instead of Yugi.